Oh, what's up, nerds? Back with another video, another writing articles with ChatGPT, another whack video. So in today's whack, we're going to talk about how Tim Dillon is a prophet, and he talks about things that it's just like, where did he get this stuff from? And it's funny, shout out to Mr. Quiglow, who might be in the comments in some of my, or has been in the comments in some of my videos, might be in the comments in this video, because he was a Tim Dillon maxer before months, a year plus before I was a Tim Dillon fan. And then once I started watching Tim Dillon, he's like, thank you, Luke. Finally, I have been talking about Tim Dillon for the last 3+ years, and you're only now getting on the train. Well, hey, better late than never, because Tim Dillon, he presents things that not only does he have these complex political opinions and he can understand these, he'll just come out of nowhere and he'll be like, oh, yes, I know about neo-Didancian political opinions and the start and the history of, you know, these obscure references and all this stuff. And he'll be able to have this, you know, deep political conversation with people like Steve Bannon. And then he'll go around and turn around and talk about how, gays for Gaza. Well, that's more still political stuff. I talk about, let's talk about comedy. Oh, better example. He'll do that political stuff, and then he'll talk about, he'll just do an hour and a half long sketch comedy show with Andrew Sanantino and Bobby Lee, where all these guys do is bits straight for an hour and a half, where you can't tell what the hell's going on because everything is just a bit on top of a bit on top of a bit. And he's so funny, and he also knows so much about politics and real world and just the state of our society. I mean, he is just, I cannot express how big of a Tim Dillon fan I am. The best I can do is write a whack article, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So we're going to go a little bit more in depth into the article before we leave. You can then go read the article if you'd like. Check out everything's in the link in the description below. Normally we just kind of gloss over some of this stuff, but in this whack article we're going to get, or this whack video, we're going to go a little bit more in depth, and hopefully it inspires you to read more about it in the future. Okay, so now we're going to go over a little bit more in depth the article, because there's a whole lot of information. We talk about a ton of different things between transhumanism, Steve Bannon, Tim Dillon, the MAGA movement, as well as where things are going in the future. I talked with someone at my gym who is a valuetainer who ended up being in the profession of making apps and optimizing the human race, and a little bit more of the transhumanism things. So this all kind of is what this article is about. We cover a lot of different stuff. So that's why I wanted to go a little bit more in depth of the conversation with chat, because the article that we ended up writing at the end, Tech Oligarchs, Transhumanism, and the Future of Humanity, Insight from Tim Dillon. This covers the end game of what we had gotten to, and it's a decent little article. However, when you compare that to the overall conversation we had with chat, I mean, it's just not even a fraction of what we covered. I mean, this conversation with chat was huge. So let's just go over quickly. Hopefully it inspires you guys to read the full article. And if not, and if you just read the article on X, that's great too. It covers a lot of the end game, and maybe it'll inspire you to go back. So let's get into it. Starting off, we start with Tim Dillon and Steve Bannon. They talk about the political landscape of America, a little bit about MAGA, why these things are important, how the future of humanity shapes out, right? As far as what like regular Americans and like regular people, right? However, then they also talk about, or Tim brings up and talks a little bit about transhumanism, what these people, meaning the tech oligarchs, goals really are, what the ruling class, you know, the upper class in America, what their goals are. And so that's kind of how this goes along. First, we talk about we break down the conversation of Tim Dillon and Steve Bannon. Then after that, Tim Dillon does the summary of Steve Bannon's conversation. And so great summary for that. And after that, we talk specifically about in the Andrew Schultz and Tim Dillon summary, when they talk about the cultural disconnect and the class warfare, we talk more specifically about that. Focus on the transhumanism, focus on what the goals of these people are, and where I highlight, I ask chat to talk about, WF, Davos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, tech oligarchs, billionaires. If there's any research, if there's any discussion, if they've come out and talked about what their goals are, to which chat is happy. Chat is like, oh man, you ask me about what my masters want? You're asking me about what the end game is? Hell yeah, brother. I mean, and it gives me, so we've gotten here World Economic Forum, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Peter Thiel, Yuval Noah Harari, more research that I can go into. It gives me 4 articles. It gives me 4 books. It gives me conclusions and references. It really pulls behind the curtain. It's like, hell yeah, brother. You want to know about all this stuff that the masters are doing? Hell yeah. And loves it. It's like, if you'd like to explore any more specific aspect or sources in great depth, please let me know. Thumbs up, smiley face. And I'm like, all right, Jesus Christ, calm down here. So that's where I talk about now that it's given me some of the background research, it's explored this stuff, we're on the right path. This is where I talk about what me and the Valuetainer Steve talked about, and his idea of human optimization, his goal of making an app that combines all of these factors to where you can best understand yourself, best understand how to biohack yourself, how to biohack life. And so I give it this whole big, essentially take what Steve and I talked about, the practical reality of what he's trying to achieve, combined all of that. Chat, again, pulls behind the curtain, and it's like, oh yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Here's a bunch of examples of exactly that. This is and I'm like, oh, great. Precision wellness and personalized health, AI-driven, real-world examples, apps of all this stuff, genomics and AI, DNA profiling, personalized recommendations, all that stuff, cognitive enhancement, AI personalized learning, AI optimized sleep and well-being, quantified self and human optimization movement, research and institutional backing, further resources, all of this stuff, all these articles. I mean, Jesus Christ. Chat is so happy to talk about this. It's like, oh yeah, this is what they want the future of the human race to be. And after that, I talk about government funding. I talk about who's the main target for all of the stuff. We talk about the ethical aspects of this, the societal ramifications of different things, talk about the sort of abuse of the working class as, okay, this is great and all, this is cool, but I mean, this is like the upper percentage, 1 to 2-3% of the wealthiest people on the planet, essentially using the working class as guinea pigs and, taking their data. And so talk about all this kind of stuff. And it was a great discussion with chat. I mean, it talks about so much stuff. I ask it some pretty hard questions about the healthiness of this, what the implications could be. And it's honestly kind of scary. Skipping ahead a little bit, I mean, we'll go down to the very end, and let me go down, because at the end, here we go, there's the article I ask it to write. So we go up here just a little bit. So here we go. So here's company endgames, and this is a theoretical reflection by chat. Theoretical. This is totally not what they're working towards. Totally not what they're working towards. Wink, wink. So influence or financial gain and long-term profitability. Okay, that makes sense. Capitalism, companies, business. Okay. Influence and power. Data and health technologies could confer significant societal control, influence public policy, shape healthcare trends, and even define societal norms about wellness and capability. Okay. Another thing, legacy and control of human evolution. Huh? The more radical interpretation, as discussed previously around transhumanism, suggests an interest in reshaping humanity, redefining life itself, and controlling human destiny via technology. This reflects deep-seated aspirations for legacy or even immortality. I mean, Jesus Christ, ChatGPT, can you fucking lay it on us a little bit, package it a little bit better? I mean, Chat is just like, it's just so crazy to me how this is, you know, a theoretical reflections by Chat. But this is, I mean, if you think this is theoretical, you're out of your fucking mind. This is exactly what they want. They literally want to shape human destiny via technology. And so, I mean, this was a crazy article. Tim Dillon does, I mean, you wouldn't think that Tim Dillon, the gay comedian from Long Island, is the one pulling behind the curtain of this shit. But hey, he is. At least that's what I think. So, check out the links below. It's got the articles on X. It's got the article on my website. Everything else, check it out. Playlist for all of this. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, follow, smoke grass, eat ass, be excellent to each other, and I will see you in the next video. Deuces.